Hey guys, and welcome back to the hillside. If you want to see some naked ladies, you come to the right place. Now, have I lost my mind? Am I trying to get myself banned on YouTube? Not today. Not today. However, I am absolutely going to show you some naked ladies and how you can actually incorporate them into your landscaping. And before you think that you're going to see something that you shouldn't be, it's just a joke. All right, guys. All right, guys. So this is the flower bulb that is commonly referred to as a naked lady. Okay, it also comes from South Africa and the Cape region. It's from hot, dry, rocky soil. So it's used to having, you don't really need to take care of it. It's used to being taken care of for itself. It's supposed to be hardy zone 7 to 11. I live right on the edge of zone 6 and zone 7 for USDA hardiness zones, and I have these things coming back every year. Never had any issue whatsoever. So if you've ever grown these in a more northern climate, please let me know down below. I'd like to see just how hardy these things may or may not be, because as with some of my perennials that I don't dig that you're supposed to, as some of my dahlias that are supposedly not going to survive have done quite well and are thriving. So this is an example of another plant that, as long as you give it a little bit of care, it will break the quote-unquote zone hardiness threshold. So that being said, kind of zoom back here. Now see how it kind of blends right into the landscape here. Now this is one very, very interesting flower, because what happens early in the spring, and I mean not super early, but we'll say about May in my climate, late April, early May, right here at the base of the plant, as you can see, there is no leaves down here. Okay, that's why it's called a naked lady, because it's now there's no foliage down below. So it'll put out a big flush full of almost lily-like leaves, because this is an amaryllis. Belladonna is the Latin name, so it is from the amaryllis family, which is a lily. So it'll actually put on a lot of leaves down here, just a big rosette kind of leaves, and then the leaves will just wither up and die and go away. And then randomly in the early to mid-August, you're just going to get these shoots just randomly pop up, and then boom, there you go. Within about 2 or 3 days, they flower. They don't last for too long, maybe about a week, 10 days or so, depending if you have a hard rain, maybe might affect the flowers on that as well. But yeah, they're going to do that. They're put on the show, and they're just going to go back to sleep and be dormant once again. So it gets the name Naked Lady because also the belladonna. So it's like a dancer. These are supposed like a ballerina with this like the pink tutu around the waist, and they have the long skinny legs like on your ballerina would be, or a dancer or something like that. But some of the names for this are quite interesting. Actually, in South Africa, it is known as the March lily because it blooms in March. So it's where it's native to. Australia, it's actually called the Easter lily, because I imagine it blooms around Easter time in the southern hemisphere. So that's kind of cool, where the Easter lily up in the northern hemisphere, we're used to the big white, very deep white blooms we get. This goes by several other names. I've heard some pretty creative things, like, other than the belladonna lily, which is based off of the Latin name. Naked lady is what I've always heard them called, but I've also heard them called recently, some people call them surprise lilies, because they just pop up and they're more of a surprise. Some of the more modest people might not want to call them naked ladies. Hey, everyone check out these naked ladies in my yard. People don't want to see that, so they're going to call them their, various different colorful names, because they may or may not feel comfortable referring to something as a naked lady as growing in their yard. So I will give you another warning, or just a word of caution, not really a warning. Some people are actually allergic to these bulbs. So when you're planting them, make sure you wear gloves. I actually found out the hard way that by planting all these bulbs in the ground, my hands started itching really, really bad. And it didn't break into a rash. It didn't break into like hives or anything, but it was very, very much irritated. So a small percentage of people may find that they are actually sensitive to the bulbs of these when you plant them. So do keep that in mind. I have never divided these. They've grown on their own. I planted them several places. Here and there, a couple did not really survive. But, I have found also that a lot of times these flowers will grow in the springtime, put on the nice foliage, and then die back like they're supposed to, but then never send up a flower stalk. So maybe it just takes the right season. Maybe the bulbs need to you know, mature to a certain point. Maybe they don't put on flowers every year. I don't know. So if you have any trouble with that or have had experience, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to learn from you and hear from you along the way. But yeah, so right here, these flowers here, last year did not bloom. Okay, they had the foliage and nothing grew as far as a flowering stalk this time of year in mid-August, zone 7. And yeah, so this year it's doing fine. It's up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stalks. And I believe at one time this is just all from one bulb. So maybe just maybe they just take some time getting used to the soil, getting naturalized. But yeah, they will spread, they'll naturalize. At my grandmother's house, I remember when I was in high school, I planted a couple of these bulbs that I got from my other grandma when she was thinning them out of her yard. And to this day, you know, 23, 24 years later from when I planted them, every August, just like clockwork, boom, some of these shoots just pop up out. I think I planted them actually in the middle of her yard because, I mean, I was a teenager. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought they were cool, so I put them, like, you know, on the edge of the sidewalk or something. But they'll still come up to this day. So given the right conditions, there's no protection I give these guys other than the winter mulch. I could do all my flower beds, and they seem to do just fine. So there you go, guys. A little look at some of my naked ladies. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody by making this video. I thought it'd be funny and a play on words, but I'm not making it up. They are very commonly referred to as naked lady flowers or naked lady lilies, etc., etc. So there you go. Do try this in your landscape. It does add a nice bright pop of pink coloring in mid-August when maybe some of your garden is actually winding down and not many things are blooming this time of year. I got the canna lilies in the background and my dahlia is still putting on some blooms, but I can see the echinacea starting to kind of whittle down, and the zinnias are doing fine. They're a heat-loving crop. So think about adding this to your summertime landscaping. Hope you did enjoy this. Please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing, and I will see you guys next time here on the hillside with more plant-related things and just growing things and having fun. All right, guys, until then, bye-bye.